So what do you think a sustainable future looks like?
Okay, number one, love geography. One of my favorite topics. I wish I'd done it for uni actually,
Really?
because yeah, physical geography so interesting. I actually had one of my papers. You know how they have case studies of good papers and good answers. I had one of my papers turned into that, and I should have taken it as a
Oh,
science two
sick.
geography.
That's incredible.
Uh, yeah, it was really, I really really enjoyed it, and my teachers were amazing as well. Um, and obviously everything I say is like not it's not the government's position or like a policy position, but just my personal views on a sustainable future. I have so many thoughts. I feel like what you said about energy and demand. I think it just feels like consumption is at the key of all of our problems. So the fact that the way that we consume is so unsustainable and specifically at the detriment of those who might live in developing countries, that it feels like it's going to be really difficult to change anything unless there is some kind of crisis. And one of the key things with energy that I found really interesting is if you look on the International Energy Agency's graphs, they say energy supply is increasing year on year, right? So clean energy is increasing like so much every year, but demand is like almost exceeding that. So you have this situation where you're creating more and more energy sources, and but you're also creating more and more energy demand, either through industrial means, through personal consumption, and it feels like it's going to be really hard to like step away from that until there's a natural crisis. Um, and one of the things that I really like to do is every year I'll take like at least one course. So I feel like learning doesn't stop after university, right? So every year I'll like take a course. And last year I did a course at Birkbeck called the Economics of Natural Resources, um, which I think anyone can do. Like you don't have to be, I think like you don't have to have gone to university, and it's really cheap. It's like £600, and you get like 3 hours every day for 12 weeks or something, and you get assessed as well at the end. Um, and one of the key things that we learned about was actually like pricing externalities. So I don't know if either of you do economics, but it's basically like what is the cost of something which can't be priced? Like how do you price a walk in the park? How can you put a
That
price
sounds
to
more
something?
philosophical.
Yeah, exactly. But then you're kind of like, how do you price nature? Like, how do you price these things, which is so fundamental? And how do you create this global market? Because that's the current world that we live in. We have to like, create a market for things. We have to create pricing for things. And right now, there isn't a pricing. Like, you can get cheap goods from, like Shein or whatever those brands are, and there is no pricing for things like exploitation of labor, environmental costs. So until there's a price, and like until there is a price for environmental externalities, I think nothing is going to change, and I think that's not going to happen for a really long time, because then you'll have to fundamentally change the way that economies work. Like you're going to have to like change how goods are priced and change what people are consuming.